So these are not. Oh, that's vertebral. So these are vertebral, right? They're coming together to make basilar. And the first branch coming off of the vertebral is the pica. So this guy right here is pica. You can kind of see it because it's coming off right here. And it's going to the posterior portion of the cerebellum, correct? Yep. Now this one is aica. I mean, sorry, not here. It's curving around and going back here posterior. So then aica is the one that comes off basilar, right? So we have basilar, aica is coming off, doing the anterior portion. The basilar keeps going up, blah, 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 and then turns in, gives a little bit of, well, actually, bifurcates and then gives off this here. Okay, so we all got that. It's pretty simple. All right, so what sensory deficits would you see in the body resulting from an infarct in this region? Good, so contralateral loss of pain and temperature, right? So when they say deficit, so like sensory deficit is different than a track or a path or, something like that. So if they say what track is damaged with an infarct here, that's where you would put contralateral ALS, sorry. If they say sensory defect in the body, well then what kind of sensory loss are you going to see in the body? You're going to see contralateral loss of pain and temperature. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's the difference between like sensory deficit versus okay. So what are these axon synapses? Right, so ipsilateral VPL, right? So make sure you put your sides. Like if you can figure out a side, put the side, because this is, because they want you to know that it's already decussated, right? Like I said, its level of that it came out. It's already decussated, so where's it going now? As opposed to something that's coming up and it hasn't decussated yet, right? So if you're in PCML in the posterior column of the spinal cord and they say, where is this going? Well, it's not ipsilateral VPL, it's contralateral, right? Well, actually, first, if that's not then. Oh, right. Okay, so know your sides for sure. Vascular structure. Yeah. Yes. No, you can put one. And the way they say it, they're like, oh, it's intercroidal in the picture, and then they say something else in the lecture, and they're like, oh, it's thalamo-geniculate and the thalamoperforated, like all these things that are coming off PCA. So, it's kind of hit or miss. But I doubt they would ask you something like this, but it's just helpful to kind of know where your vasculature is. Okay. For instance, anybody have a question about this slide? About anything on this slide? Okay, so what are these guys right here, right? These are thalamus, right? So what is this line in between? Third ventricle, good. What would this guy be coming down, this little guy right here? Okay, what would this guy be? Right, so, this is, no, this guy right here. So this is the atrium, right? And you can see that this color, you can tell that this is, the lateral ventricle, right? And it's the same exact color as this. So these are the same substances, the same fluids, right? So this is going to be a portion of it, right? Okay. And then we have anterior limb, the genu, and the posterior limb of the internal capsule. Right? All right, so now what are we looking at? Basis pedunculus, right? And you can just, put that, basis pedunculus. So what tracks are running through the basis pedunculus? Corticospinal, corticobulbar, right? So which one is more medial? Corticobulbar, right? And then what? So then I can never say that word. The topography or whatever. What is the topography going from medial to lateral? Face, arms, trunk, leg, right? Okay. So you start with the head, and then you go down the bottom, right, to outside. Leg is lateral. All right. So So what are the cell columns / modalities? In this class, they want you to use cell column, and they use cell column and modality interchangeably. So look out for that. I would use modality because I feel like I put those together more. But cell column. So what is this? What is that?
Is it asking for sympathetic, or is
No,
it asking
the modality or the cell column. It's GVE, right? General visceral efferent. So this is intermediate cell column, right? So this is sympathetic coming out, right? So this is visceral efferent. So general visceral efferent would be the cell column or the modality, because the cell column is going to run from L1, L2, or L1 all the way up to thoracics, right? So C8 to T1. Does that make sense? Is anybody confused about that? The modality and structure are different. If they tagged this and said, what is the structure, then it would be the intermediate cell bodies or whatever. And I guess that's kind of hard to say because that's in the name. But when I think of, that's where I get cell column and modality confused, because if they were like, what is the cell column, I'd be like, it's the intermediate cell column. That's in the name of it, right? But they want you to know the modality, so they know.
They say cell column with modality.
Yeah, so if they say cell column, I would put the modality. And you might even shoot them an email and ask them, because it's kind of like a gray area. Yeah, the answer is GVE. And I had the professors look over these before. There was actually like 70 questions, and I cut it down a lot. So yeah, so GVE. I would put them on there, but not now. She was pretty adamant about me not. All right, so what are we looking at here? So this whole thing. Well, this is the cerebral aqueduct, right? But what is this whole thing? So this is. I would say midbrain. You might look. I would say call it midbrain. To ask. It's kind of like the transition between the two. Yeah, but that's what I would say. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Like, what was this? No. But if they were like, what is this? And you don't know that this is the midbrain, then it's kind of hard to be like, oh, well, that's the midbrain, you know. Or if this was the pons, this could be starting to form the fourth ventricle, and you know, it's just kind of, it's good to know where you're at. I would definitely say rostrum. Okay, so what is this big blob of stuff like around and outside?
Gray matter.
Okay, so this is the PAG. And what is the PAG used for? Right, so it's used for like pain modulation, correct? Right? And if you have questions after, we can go through it, but I don't really want to go through the track right now. So we can go through it on the run. All right, so what is this guy? Right? So what is this guy here? This is the gyrus. I'm going to the gyrus. Calatrine. So this is cingulate. What is this guy right here? Sorry. Cingulate. Yeah. So what is this guy? Okay. So what is this portion of it? This portion.
Body. GU.
What is this guy?
Arms.
Right? Okay, fourth ventricle, right? So cerebral aqueduct, blah, blah, blah. That's pretty easy. Alright, so what is this artery? Pica, right? So why is it pica, not aica?
Because it's coming up
It's coming up vertebral. Okay,
vertebral.
Okay. Alright, so what disorder? So Bell's palsy, right? So, and what would you see in Bell's palsy? So, What kind of signs would you see? Lower or upper motor neuron? Lower motor neuron signs, right? Would it affect the whole face? Yes, right? And why is it affecting the whole face? Because it's the nerve or the nucleus. It doesn't matter that it's the top of the head, the forehead is innervated bilaterally because the nuclei that both sides are innervating is gone. So that doesn't matter. So you're going to have complete one-sided ipsilateral face, lower motor neuron sides. That's like just hanging. Okay. Y'all haven't gone over like this, the fascicle and the bundle-facial? All right, let's get that. All right. So what is this guy? Okay, so this whole thing is PCML, right? And so this is the cuneate portion of PCML, right? So that's what levels from T6 and up, right? So what orders are these axons in the structure? So what are the orders of the axons? First order, right? And so they're first order because they haven't synapsed anymore, right? So where's the cell bodies of these guys? They're in the DRG back here, right? So they come in, they go whoop, jump in and go up. So where are they going to synapse? Okay, and it's ipsilateral cuneate nucleus, right? Yeah, I would say ipsilateral cuneate nucleus. No, because it's saying where do these synapse? So they're going up, and where are they going to synapse next? They're going to go to ipsilateral cuneate, and then they're going to decussate right to the arcuate fibers, and they're going to ascend to the right medial lemniscus, and then where are they going? EPL, the thalamus. Good. Okay. Got it. Sorry, my medication's getting. So what is this structure? Where are we going?
Aica.
So this is Aica. All right. So what is this guy? Jugular. Right. So it's a jugular because this is venous drainage. So venous veins start on the outside and come down. So this is jugular, not jugular. All right. So what pathway originates here? Cerebrospinal, right? So what does cerebrospinal do? Flexors, right? Okay. And so we're getting, so what is this nucleus? Nucleus, right? So we went over PAG. So where's tectobulbar pathway coming from? Right, so it's coming from these superior colliculus, right? So what is tectobulbar pathway used for? Right, so that's like the neck rotators. I don't know exactly the muscle. So basically, ALS is coming up, right? So ALS is coming up. It's giving off contralaterals to superior colliculus. Superior colliculus is then coming down, making the tectobulbar tract. So ALS does pain and temperature. So pain and temperature is going to midbrain, telling the colliculus, hey, I just got stabbed, or hey, I just got poked. Telling superior colliculus, which is now sending fibers down to tell the SCAs to be like, to look towards the injury, right? So it's like pain and stimulated looking towards that pain. Okay. All right, so what is this guy? It's kind of hard one. This is a pharynx, right? This one's kind of hard. They're probably not going to ask you this because it is kind of tricky. But yeah, this is definitely the pharynx. Because these are what? Lateral ventricles, right? So pharynx is running in the lateral ventricles and they're coming. Right, I can't talk and do pain motions. And then coming back around, and you'll learn that later because that's doing that. Like using for like formation of membrane and stuff, so that's like fourth test. But the structure might be fair game. But I doubt they would ask it this way. They would probably ask it on a sagittal cut. Okay, so what's going on here? So what is sending pathway synapse here? Right. So are they contralateral or ipsilateral? Contralateral ALS PCML, right? Because PCML decussated in the medulla.